Hey everyone, welcome back. I am excited today. Today is another big day. So last weekend we worked on it. We figured out the IAC is actually the failure. So I went ahead and went to the junkyard that I have local after doing some research. A couple guys messaged me and told me that you can use a 2000 and up Eclipse throttle IAC to get you by to figure out if yours is actually failing before spending the, $200 to $400 for a sensor. So what I'm not going to show y'all is I've already swapped one out. Y'all could see the last video, it was not working, it wasn't going in and out. Anyways, I went ahead and put one in, tested it after making sure that was it, and it was actually the right one. Or well, it was actually what was failing. So anytime you would click the ignition on, it would go in, go out, it would actually try to adjust. So that was the actual issue, well, part of the issue why the idle is not working. So after doing that, I was getting multiple codes on the reader. So I'm getting PO201, 202, 203, 204, which is an injector malfunction. So because that was happening, I went ahead and ordered a new injector resistor. I talked to my tuner, let him know what was going on. So today we're going to try to, I'm waiting for UPS or USPS to deliver it to my house, so I'll be leaving to go grab that once it delivers. But waiting on, well, what we're going to end up doing today is, so we're going to end up putting on downpipe, drive shaft, try to put on the full exhaust. I need to put my air fuel ratio gauge in, get that wired up so we can actually see what is going on. My tuner wants to know what is going on with my AFRs. So today we're just going to dive straight into that. On top of all that, I went to turn this power steering, try to bleed the power steering a little bit, and I heard a thunk as I was going to go ahead and push the car in, or go ahead and try to drive the car in. And my outer tie rod on the right hand side, I forgot that I never tightened it down after I pulled the knuckle off, and I messed up the splines on it. So it's not fixable, just going ahead and replace it. I went to O'Reilly's, snagged a cheap one. I'm going to eventually go with like a whole white line series on all of the, everything I can. We're going to do an actual right, correctly done suspension upgrade on that white line, everything, front, rear, all that stuff. But I just need to be able to move the car in and out, get the car situated enough to where we can actually drive it if I have to move it, or if one of the guys need to move it out of the way, or if it's in the problem, somebody here at the shop, because it's still here at my buddy's shop. So I'm just gonna pretty much just hop right into popping the wheel off, switch out that outer tie rod, we'll pull it in, and then we'll start with getting the downpipe or the drive shaft put on. I got, thankfully, shout out to the guys at SDM. I ordered that stuff on like Wednesday when I got the chance to figure out I was actually getting a decent check. So I went ahead and ordered that, got that thing shipped out, and received it yesterday. Such fast shipping. They shipped it out like same day I did the order. And then a shout out to Chris. He's got my injector resistor pack, if that's actually what's causing the codes to be coming up in the system and causing the idle to not want to idle, because it's causing all 4 cylinders to misfire due to injector malfunction is what it keeps saying. But it was like inexpensive, so I went ahead and ordered it. So, well, let's go ahead and let's just dive into getting this situated. I'll talk a little bit about things once we get this car inside, because it's kind of windy outside and I can't really move the car in until we get this tie rod put on. So let's go ahead and get to it. Yeah, look, too, I messed it up and didn't leave it tightened up all the way, so all this is messed up anyway, so we're just gonna completely replace it. Luckily, the knuckle didn't get messed up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. 12 full rotations. All right, guys, so we just grabbed pretty much just a generic replacement. I'm not gonna spend a shit ton of money on one we're literally gonna turn back around and replace like a little bit later on. Yeah, look at this. All those threads are gone. Boot's gone. This is all like that when I got this car. Two. Okay, well, she's not on there perfect, but I'll tighten, I'll get this pushed in. Once I get in the shop, I'll pop the wheel back off and I'll pull it all the way through. I just don't have a pair of pliers with me right now. But it's in there, way better than it was. This is seized, but I did count how many rotations, and then I counted this back as well. So everything says it's back where it's supposed to be. So hopefully, just, I mean, this thing's gonna need an alignment no matter what. I've adjusted and messed with so much stuff, and alignment is needed. But car has sat for like 2 weeks now, starting it, running it, no leaks. There's nothing. It's dry. Plus the AN line looks so good right now. Love the way they look. But I did snag some windshield wipers. So since we're outside, I'm just gonna go ahead and slap them on real quick. So we'll just knock that out real quick while we're outside before I push it inside or try to start it and move it inside. But we'll it's definitely needed some windshield wipers, like really bad. So let's go ahead and just knock that out real quick. All right, with the help of my buddy Everett, he made me literally a harness that incorporated the use of all three spots. Positive, negative for all three. Runs up, runs off the ignition, so anytime the ignition comes on, it runs straight off that and will power up. It's beautifully done up in here. We tucked it so you can't see anything, so the only thing you can see now is just what is left over for the harness in there. But since we're going to be using each of the spots, you won't see me more. I do have the air fuel ran here. I just got to run it outside, but we're going to go ahead and get started on the exhaust before I do the rest of the way with the air fuel ratio. And then got a new power block, which we'll be redoing all this hopefully today. And then all these new toys. New parts, dry strap bolts, exhaust bolts, the new donut. Well, we're just gonna stick with some stock stuff. So let's go ahead and get to installing. If anything, they did go with the Evos. The fact that you can lift one side and lift the entire thing up, it's ridiculous. All right, guys, so we have a lot of stuff that we knocked out today. So everything so far that has been knocked out has been like little things to a point where now it's become the big things. So knocking out the windshield wipers, obviously it wasn't needed to make it run, but I'm tired of bumping the button when I was messing with the steering column and like watching these horrible blades go across the window. And instead of tearing up the windshield, it looks like it already maybe has, but looks like they were pretty bad, so went ahead and switched those out. But we went ahead and put the full exhaust on. So downpipes on and all the way back with the wideband is now correctly wired, as we were talking about earlier. It is now completely wired through the firewall. Down is actually plugged into the exhaust. And earlier I went home and I went ahead and picked up the resistor just in case. I'm going to try to see how things perform now that we have the full exhaust on, and as well we have the drive shaft is on. So that being on, I have the tender going on for the battery right now because it was dead. This battery, I don't know if it's just because it's not, I haven't been driving enough or running it enough long enough to keep it charged, but it keeps dying. So we're just going to go ahead and try to fire it up. I know it's going to fire now that it's got a battery tender on it or a battery charger on it, but I want to hear how it sounds. So let's see what happens. Alright, so I went ahead and since it's not starting, I went ahead and just kind of unplugged the other resistor and put in the new resistor, and we'll see what happens. We'll just try it again. If not, I'll have to go with the tuner. He's said he'd be around, so I'm gonna message him and tell him what's going on if this doesn't work again. So second shot on trying to get it to start, so here we go. Alright, so we're still having difficulties. My AEM gauge is reading 14.7 and it's just not doing anything. It still won't idle. I'm going to try completely attaching the sensor. I'm gonna try completely screwing everything in. I'm gonna try completely screwing everything in for this resistor and make sure it doesn't need to be grounded, because maybe it needs to be grounded, but I'm gonna screw that all in, make sure that doesn't need to be grounded off to the body, and we'll try it again. All right, guys, we're gonna be coming back here in the morning. I'm calling it. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I've been here for like 10 hours messing with this thing. Believe the wideband sensor is either bad or there was some phrase in the harness that we tried like patching up, and I might have messed it up when I was pulling it through the firewall, because there's like a little spot that I was pulling it through. So tomorrow I'm just gonna come back in the morning, mess with it, reach out to my tuner, see if he can adjust something. I pulled the spark plugs, looked at the spark plugs, everything looks good. I mean, I was really worried that maybe something was really far off. Looked in the cylinders, nope, everything looks good. Exhaust doesn't sound the best right this second, but I'm glad just to have exhaust on it. I don't know, I'll be probably much more happy once I can actually pull it out of the shop and actually hear it and like rev it and stuff like that. But it is nice to hear it not dumping in the front no more. So we'll just going to flash in tomorrow morning. So flash in tomorrow. What's up, everybody? It is the next morning. I think I slept good last night. All right, so today, thankfully, there's not a lot to do. I'm going to try to pick apart this harness. I'm going to pull it all back out, fish it back out. Try to see if the wire, maybe when I was pulling it through the firewall, whoever had the gauge last, and it came with the car, or it came in another box. I don't even know where it came from. Hopefully I can pull it out, look at the wire. Maybe a wire's pulled, maybe it's frayed, I don't know. I have another one in the back. It's not an AEM, but it uses the same wideband, so I could probably wire it in to work temporarily. So, worst case scenario, whew, I might be doing that, but I'm ready to get this wideband in so that I can actually have my tuner look at it. I've been talking to him this morning, but he won't do nothing until I have the wideband in, which I'm starting to think that he either like set the tune, like offset the tune to where with the injectors, and it's just the ECU doesn't know what the hell's going on since he like turned down the voltage on it. Because even every time I turn the key on, it immediately throws the 4 codes for the voltage being low to those. But I've ran all the lines. There's literally, it's a stock harness that's not been, like, the injector harness has not been modified in any way. Everything's still covered up. Everything's still taped up. Everything's wire loom still up from factory. So if something's not working, I don't know what it is. It has to be in the tune. If it's not in the tune, then I'm going to have to dig this entire harness apart to find a single probably frayed wire. But we're going to hope it's not that. If it is that, I might as well just get another harness and just rewire it. Get a harness that's actually good. Or dig through it for the 3 or 4 hours it'll take to completely run through everything, check everything, check all the lines, and do that. But let's go ahead and get this thing out of here so that I can take a look at it. Alright guys, so I did a quick continuity test on the actual harness, and I already went ahead and plugged it back up, but something cool that I did not realize I could do is I had a spare, I didn't realize I could make it work, but I had the spare the spare wideband in the back from another wideband that I had, and if you take the clip off of the AEM, you can at least plug the other sensor in. It's not recommended. It's already getting real hot, but I was able to test to make sure the gauge worked and the harness works, so it is the sensor. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to make an 1.5-hour drive to go pick up a new sensor from Summit, or if I'm going to just wait. So I really want to get this thing going today. This tuner dude's literally waiting on me just to get this damn wideband plugged up so we can figure out what's going on. So gotta make the decision. So if I do, the next part of this will be pretty much just me flashing forward to having the sensor in my hand. So we'll see what happens from here. Well, awesome news. So a few minutes later, I've been messaging back and forth with a buddy of mine, and after that few minutes went by, we finally came up with a little thing that turns out that I don't know shit about these gauges, and that part number right there is the 4.2 Bosch 4.2 gauge sensor. So the part number right there, so if you guys with the older AEM gauges need a 4.2, 17018. So we're gonna slap this thing in and make sure it works. Hoping it does. Should. Theoretically it should, since there's no other reason it shouldn't. So let's just put it in. Ah, we're good. Oh, our tuner Casey is uploading the file now, so we're gonna try giving it some more fuel and see if it works. Hopefully we're getting this thing sorted out now. Well, after some like crazy shit that happened, she's trying to idle. Tuner messed with it, so hopefully this is good. She doesn't feel 100% straight, but ooh, I can hear the dust shield. All right, that was fun. That was awesome. I am completely speechless. I don't even know what to say. My God, I drove her not once around, but twice. Holy crap, 2 years, a lot of time, a lot of patience. It was the tune. It may have been other stuff as well adding up, but it was the tune. The tune, it wasn't getting enough fuel. The fuel cut. Anytime you gave it gas, it would just try to die. There's still a lot of like, even me driving around, I could tell that there's definitely like some kinks and stuff to work out. But I drove her around twice. I definitely was driving it with like stuff in my hand. It would have been a lot easier probably trying to drive without having my hands full of stuff, but I'm gonna slap the front bumper on and I'm calling it. Everything has been amazing. It's been such an amazing day. What little thing that happened that kind of threw me off was, I don't know what that is. Is that water? A little thing that threw me off that I did not expect to happen was in the middle of me messing with the tuner. The water pump came off, like came undone completely. I heard the bolts just, I heard it, and then as soon as I heard the belt pop, like it popped off, I immediately killed it as the belt came off, or as I heard the bolts come off, I killed it, ran up to the front and saw it. The water pump somehow backed out. Even those used the factory bolts, brand new factory bolts with lock washer, and 3 of the 4 came off. And luckily it only slightly, like just very slightly bent the pulley, so I was able to straighten it back out and it was perfect. But in doing that, I managed to find that my crank pulley bolts were loose as well. Not the big center one, but the outside 4 was loose. Thankfully, saw that. I was like, okay, put like Loctite on everything, cinched it all back up, and now it is all back together. Obviously, you guys just saw it just a second ago, or a few minutes ago, however y'all seeing it. But obviously, y'all just saw that it drives. I'm surprised. I bet some of y'all watching now are probably surprised. It's 2 years in the works, and I don't know. I thank you everybody that's helped me so far, and luckily this is just one of the big steps forward. And next is getting it to like an actual tuner. But now that I can actually move it around in and out of the shop, I got to figure out if it's the alternator that's going bad or if the batteries just won't hold a charge. But either way, thank you all so much for watching. I am done. I'm gonna go spend the rest of my Sunday evening playing some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.